Okay, dear. Now, today we are going to the next idea, lecture 4, inverse of a function. See, in the last lectures, we were discussing about function. And we said we can evaluate a function, we can use g of 2, f of 2, and we can find the solution. And then we discussed about composition of function, how to combine two functions and find the answer, how to combine two functions and find the solution. Now in this, we are going to see in this we are going to discuss the inverse of a function. We are going to discuss inverse of a function. What is the meaning of this? I am having a function. Now I need to find what is the inverse. What is the inverse? The meaning of inverse, just the opposite. For example, I am having a function if g of x is equal to root x minus 3, g of x is equal to root x minus 3, find g inverse of x. Find g inverse of x. Now I am going to find what is g inverse of x. How to find this? This is very, very simple idea. I am going to assume g of x as y. I am going to take g of x is equal to y. So shall I say y is equal to root of x plus 3, x minus 3, isn't it? Y is equal to root x minus 3. Now I want to cancel the root. I have to cancel the square root. That means what I am going to do now, I am going to square both the sides. Both the sides. When I square both the sides, y will become y squared equal. Here the root will get cancelled. This will become x minus 3. Isn't it? Y squared equal x minus 3. So what I am going to do now, I am going to assume the given function as y is equal to the given function. What is the given function here? Root x minus 3. Here I am having root, so I want to cancel the root. How to cancel the root? You know that very well. If I square both the sides, the root will get cancelled. So y will become y squared. Here the root will get cancelled. This will become x minus 3. Now how I can write from this? I am going to check what is x. When I take minus 3 to the opposite side, x is equal to, this will become y squared plus 3, isn't it? X is equal to y squared plus 3. This is the general idea what you were doing before. I am not teaching something new, isn't it? This is, you know that. But here is only we are going to make a small change. Now what I am going to do now, I am going to replace. I am going to replace x by y and y by x. What I am going to do now, I am going to replace x by y and y by x. What is the meaning of this? I am having x and y, just I want to change the numbers. I want to change the numbers. So what will happen now? This will become y is equal to x will, y will become x. So x squared plus this y is called g inverse of x. This y is called g inverse of x. Again I am repeating, See dear, the basic idea, I want to find inverse of a function. How to find the inverse of a function? The function is given, g of x is equal to root of x minus 3. They have given a function. I am going to find the inverse. So for my comfortability, I am going to take the function y is equal to, because here it is given g of x. So for my easiness, I am taking y is equal to the given function. Here y is equal to root x minus 3. This is given here. Y is equal to root x minus 3. Now I want to make, or I want to convert this equation or this function in the opposite side. That means I am going to make what is x is equal to. This is the basic idea. I am going to find, or I am going to express the value of x. So I want to write x is equal to, when I see this I am having root, square root. So I am going to square both the sides. I am going to square both the sides. So this y will become y squared. Here the root will get cancelled. This will become x minus 3. X minus 3. Now I am going to check what is the value of x. So x is equal to y squared. I take this minus 3 to opposite side. This will become plus 3. For our requirement, we have to find g inverse of x, because y we assumed ourselves. So what I am going to do now, I am going to replace x by y. I am going to replace again x by y and y by x. I am going to make a transformation. I am going to make a transformation. So what will happen? In place of x, I am going to take y. In place of x, I am going to take y. In place of y, in the vice versa, in place of y, I am going to take x. I am going to take x. Just I am replacing them. That's all. Y is equal to x squared plus 3. This y is called g inverse of x. Why? Because as we are replacing it, this y is called g inverse of x. This is x squared plus 3. Understand the idea, dear? If you need, please, you can make a chat now, please. Do everybody understand the problem? This is very simple and easy idea, dear. Okay, excellent. So let me make one more problem in the same idea. For example, see if f of x is equal to, let me take some other function, x squared plus 3. I want to find what is f inverse of x. I want to find what is f inverse of x. Yes, Ahmed, sorry, just now I am seeing your this one. Yes, the final answer is x squared plus 3. Yes. Why? Because just we need to replace y with x, that's all. So the final answer is g inverse of x is equal to x squared plus 3. That's all. This is the final answer. This is the final answer. No need to go further. See, for example, in the same idea, we are going to check one more question. I am having f of x is equal to x squared plus 3. I am going to find what is f inverse of x. So what I have to do, I am going to take y is equal to, I am going to replace f of x by y. Y is equal to x squared plus 3, isn't it? Y is equal to x squared plus 3. Now I am going to express this equation in terms of x. I am going to express this equation in terms of x. What is the meaning of this? So when I take x squared, I am going to take x squared is equal to, this will become y. When I take plus 3 to the opposite side, this will become minus 3. When I take plus 3 to the opposite side, this will become minus 3. But I need what I need only x. I don't want y, x squared. So what will be x now? X is nothing but root of 1 minus 3, isn't it? Y is nothing but, sorry, x is nothing but root of 1 minus 3. So let me, here is the root. So x is equal to, I want to cancel the square, so I'm going to take square root both the sides. So x is equal to y minus 3. Now I am going to replace now. I am going to replace now. I am going to replace x by y and y by x. I am going to replace in the opposite. So what will happen? This will become y, x will become y equal, this is root of y minus 3. In place of y, I am going to put x. So this will become root of x minus 3. This will become root of x minus 3. So this y minus 3, this y is equal to root of x minus 3 is called f inverse of x. This is called f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is equal to root of x minus 3. So again I am repeating, I am having f of x is equal to x squared plus 3. I am going to find what is f inverse of x. So first I am going to assume f of x, that function, as y is equal to, what is given here, y is equal to x squared plus 3. Now I have to express this in terms of x. I am going to express this in terms of x. What is the meaning of this? I am going to take all the values of y and constant to one side. I am going to keep x on the other side. So x squared is equal to, when I take y 3 to the opposite side, this will become y minus 3. Now I want to take, or I need only x. I don't want x squared, because here I am having x squared. That means I am going to need only x. So I am going to take square root. Square root on both the sides. I am going to take square root on both the sides. So x squared will become x. When I am taking root of y minus 3, this will become root y minus 3. When I take the square root for this, this will become square root of y minus 3. Now we got some idea. We have expressed x in terms of y. We expressed x in terms of y. So now what we are going to replace? We are going to replace x by y and y by x. We are going to replace x by y and y by x. So what will happen? X will become y, y will become x. So y is equal to, this will become root of x minus 3. This y is called f inverse of x. This y is called f inverse of x is equal to root of x minus 3. Now I hope you understand the idea. My friend, please remember, all of you, here we are, y is not f inverse of x or g inverse of x. Just we are assuming y is equal to y, because I cannot take, see, for example, if I say that, see, f of x minus 3, this is the basic idea. What I have to do, I have to express like this: f of x minus 3 is equal to x squared. I have to explain like this. When I express like this, what will happen? You may misunderstand. Why here is x, there is another x. Teacher, you are confusing. So I don't want to express like this. I don't want to confuse you like this. So what I am doing is that just I am taking y is equal to, in place of f of x, I am replacing f of x by y. This is only for my idea. You can take y, you can take m. Other than x, you can take any alphabet. You can take A, B, C, anything. It is up to you. Y is the equation form, so we are taking it as y. Then I am going to express in terms of y, that is opposite. Y is equal to x squared plus 3. That means I am going to express in terms of x. So x squared is equal to this will become opposite, y minus 3. Now I need only the value of x. So I'm going to take the root on both the sides. I'm going to take the root on both the sides. So what will happen? X is equal to root of y minus 3. Now we finish up to this. This is the solution for us. Basically, this is the solution for us. But what I have to do, we need f inverse of x. That means we need a term to be in x. We need the function to be in x. What is the meaning of f inverse of x? I have to express the function in x. So I am going to replace, or I am going to replace x and y. I am going to take x into y, y into x. Teacher, I am getting confused. You can take any number. I can replace by m, no problem. You can replace by z, no problem. Anything. Okay. But at the end of the function, you need, it should be a function of x. It should be a function of x. Now understand the idea now? Thank you, dear. Thanks a lot. Shall I go to the next idea? See, today we are going to discuss some important chapter, we can say. That is the reason why I am teaching in Microsoft Word instead of PowerPoint. Because in PowerPoint, we cannot add diagrams and other things. It will take a little bit difficult. So I'm using Microsoft Word. Trigonometric functions. The next idea is called trigonometric function. I hope you studied this before. This is a very simple idea. And you studied so many other problems. Just we are going to make a review and we will finish with this trigonometric function. Chapter 1, we will finish here. The purpose of trigonometric function, when we are having a right-angled triangle, when I am having a right-angled triangle, I want to find the angles. I want to find the angles. How to find the angle? That is called trigonometry. That is called trigonometry. I can give you another simple idea for trigonometric function, because trigonometric function is applicable in different places. Trigonometric function is applicable in different places. For example, you are standing in front of your house and you are viewing the top of your building. Again, there is an angle of elevation. There is an angle of elevation. You are seeing from bottom, you are seeing to top, angle of elevation. Bird is flying on the sky and it is viewing something on the sea and it wants to catch the prey. Now from the top, it is seeing it, where is its prey? Then it will start coming down. This is called angle of depression. And when I see something from the top, this is called depression. When I see something from the bottom, this is called elevation. This is called elevation. I want to find the angles. I want to find the angle. How we are going to find that? The functions used to find the angles are called trigonometric function. The function used to find the angles are called trigonometric functions. You studied this. But you know that very well, when we are having a right angled triangle, with respect to Pythagoras theorem, with respect to Pythagoras theorem, we know that very well. The largest side of the right angle triangle, which is called hypotenuse, the largest side of the triangle, which is called hypotenuse, square. The hypotenuse square is nothing but For example, if I take this triangle as ABC, we call it as AC squared, which is the biggest side, AC squared is equal to AB squared, the sides, the other two sides, plus AC squared. This is called Pythagoras theorem. This is called Pythagoras theorem. When we are having a right angled triangle, the largest side is called hypotenuse. The largest side is called hypotenuse. The largest side squared is equal to other two sides squared. One is called opposite side, one is called adjacent side. Which is called opposite side, which is called adjacent side? This depends on the angle defined, which is depend on the angle defined. Yes, dear. This is PC squared. AB squared plus BC squared. See, AC squared, this is the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse. AC is the hypotenuse. So AC squared is equal to, the one side is AB. So this is AB squared. The other side is BC. This is BC squared. Using this Pythagoras theorem, we have to find the side and we can find the angles. This is what we are going to discuss. You know that very well. If I define theta here in place of C, see in this problem, this is defined angle C. We defined theta. In angle C, we have defined theta. So for angle C, so angle C is theta. That means the AC is called hypotenuse. AC is called hypotenuse. AB, which is opposite to the angle theta, is called opposite side. The side which is opposite to the angle is called opposite side. And BC, which is next to the angle, is called adjacent side. Which is next to the angle is called adjacent side. That is the reason why in general we used to say hypotenuse squared is equal to opposite side squared plus adjacent side squared. This is the easy idea. Hypotenuse squared is equal to opposite side squared plus adjacent side squared. Now using this principle, we are going to find the trigonometrical angles or ratios. You know that very well. We are having 6 trigonometric ratios. We have 6 trigonometric ratios. What are they? One is called sine theta, one is called cos theta, tan theta, and one is called sine theta. The meaning of sine theta, is nothing but opposite side over hypotenuse. When I am having a triangle ABC, when I want to find the angle theta, sine, we are having 6 trigonometrical ratios. One is called sine, cos, secant, tan, cosecant, secant, and cot. We are having 6 trigonometrical ratios. The first one, which is called the sine theta, is nothing but opposite side by hypotenuse. The sine theta is nothing but opposite side by hypotenuse. The same way, we can define what is cos theta. The meaning of cos theta is nothing but, this is the other side. What is the other side now we are having left out? is equal to, now we have the previous one, we considered the opposite side. Now here I am going to consider the adjacent side. I am going to consider the adjacent side. So sine theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos theta is nothing but adjacent side by hypotenuse. The adjacent side by hypotenuse. We are going to take the next area, next side. Now we need to know, or we are going to define the third angle, which is called tan theta, which is called tan theta. This tan theta is nothing but, see, first we have considered opposite side and hypotenuse. We are finding the ratio between opposite side and hypotenuse. Here we are finding the ratio between the adjacent side by hypotenuse. Now I want to find the ratio between the opposite side and adjacent side. I want to find the ratio between opposite side and adjacent side. This is called tan theta. So sine theta is nothing but opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos theta is nothing but adjacent side by hypotenuse. Tan theta is nothing but opposite side by adjacent side. This we can define. As sine theta by cos theta. We can define this by sine theta by cos theta. Tan theta is nothing but sine theta by cos theta. Really, this is very difficult for now for typing the angle, so it may take little time here. So only because of this I came to Microsoft Word here. Why? Because in Word we can use the mathematical functions easily. So I'm using Microsoft Word as my presentation point. So sine theta is nothing but opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos theta is nothing but the adjacent side by hypotenuse. Tan theta is nothing but the opposite side by adjacent side, which is sine theta by cos theta. Now we are going to find the reciprocal ratios. We are going to find the reciprocal ratios. What is the meaning of reciprocal ratio? I am going to find in the opposite. I am going to find in the opposite. What is the meaning of this tan theta? The opposite or the reciprocal of sine theta is called cosecant theta. The reciprocal of sine theta is called cosecant theta. This is nothing but, to say the fact, this is nothing but 1 by sine theta. Cosecant theta is nothing but 1 over sine theta. What is the meaning of this? How I can write with respect to the sides now? I have something. I know cosecant theta is the reciprocal of sine theta. Now I want to express this with respect to the sides. What is the meaning of sides? I am having opposite side by hypotenuse. Here sine theta I am having opposite side by hypotenuse. So this will be the ratio between the hypotenuse and opposite side. This is the reciprocal of sine theta, which will become opposite side by hypotenuse, will become hypotenuse by opposite side. The next one, we are having the reciprocal of cos theta. We are going to discuss the reciprocal of cos theta. The reciprocal of cos theta is called secant theta. The reciprocal of cos is called secant theta. This is nothing but 1 by secant theta is nothing but 1 by cos theta. 1 by cos theta. So I have to express in terms of sides. How to express in terms of sides? One second here. By mistake, I cancelled it. So now I am going to express the same in terms of the sides. When I check for the cos theta is nothing but the ratio between adjacent side by hypotenuse. Now I am going to take the opposite. So what will be the reciprocal? Reciprocal will become hypotenuse by adjacent side. Hypotenuse by adjacent side. the same, the last one, which is the reciprocal of tan theta, which is the reciprocal of tan theta. Dear, by if it is disconnected, please log in again with the same credentials, please. Okay, which is called cot theta. If it is logged out, please use the same credentials. I'm going to find what is cot theta. I'm going to define what is cot theta. Cot theta is nothing but the reciprocal of tan theta. Cos theta is nothing but the reciprocal of tan theta. This is nothing but 1 by tan theta. This is 1 by tan theta. Now I have to express this in terms of sides. So when I check, tan theta is nothing but opposite side by adjacent side. Sin theta is nothing but the opposite, tan theta is nothing but the opposite side by adjacent side. So I am going to take the reciprocal. The reciprocal will become adjacent side by opposite side, adjacent side by opposite side. Even I can express this in terms of sine and cos. Even I can express this in terms of sin theta and cos theta. So because we said tan theta is sin theta by cos theta, so the reciprocal, this will become cos theta by sin theta. This will become cos theta by sin theta. So these are all the trigonometrical ratios. These are all called the trigonometrical ratios. So whenever we are having a triangle, we can use this trigonometrical ratio and we can find the angle.